Okay, I'm just gonna put this out in the open that this is my first time doing a video like this, so bear with me. Ever since I joined the Genshin Impact fandom, I've been a somewhat active part in it, from writing fan fictions to creating the music videos that you've seen on my channel. But if there's one part of the fandom that I've completely dedicated myself towards, it's the original characters. I'm not gonna lie, but I've made more Genshin Impact OCs than I have made Dream SMP OCs. And that's saying something, because I've been a part of the Dream SMP fandom longer than the Genshin Impact fandom. But putting that aside, I feel like I need to tell you about these beloved original characters that I've created for the Genshin Impact fandom. With that being said, I'll be going over 3 main components for each character: their vision and weapon, a small bit of their backstory, and a couple of voice lines that I made for them. Without further ado, let's get into it. Also, side note, I have a lot of OCs, so this video will be dedicated to the first 7 characters I made. Let me know in the comments if you want part 2. The first OC I made is named Vicky, which is short for Victoral. He is a cryo sword user who got a lot of inspiration from Kaya in terms of character design. The main lore behind his backstory is that he wanted a dendro vision when he was younger, and spent a lot of his childhood collecting flowers. However, this led to him venturing into Dragon's Spine at age 10 and becoming trapped in the mountains for 7 years. When he was finally found by Amber, he was returned home only to realize that his family's life was taken by the Abyss Order. After earning his cryovision, he made a promise to protect Mondstadt and decided to join the Knights of Avonius and became an outrider alongside Amber. Now, in terms of some of the voice lines I created for Vicky, there's one voice line I made for him indicating that he has a crush on Amber. While Jean was the one who ordered my rescue, it was Amber who carried me out of the mountains. The radiant glow in her eyes, the warmth in her voice. Now, don't get any ideas about what I just said. I just find it funny that he actively denies the fact that he has a crush on Amber. Classic move there, Vicky. My second OC is named Tim, which is short for Timoris. Tim is a Leowayan bounty hunter, or rather a former bounty hunter. He left the bounty hunters after they began to beat the crap out of him, and after earning his pyrovision, he left Leeway and got some training from the Darkonite hero himself, Diluc. Now, I want to talk to you guys about Tim's vision for a second. I say it's a vision, but some may argue that it's not. While Tim is still able to use pyro abilities, he doesn't have the standard vision that other playable characters have. Instead, he has the pyro symbol etched onto the palm of his hand. Who or what did this to him? I don't know. But this strange phenomenon is what led to Tim earning his new abilities and allowed him to escape the bounty hunter's beatings. After he received training from Diluc, Tim returned to Leeway and became his own vigilante. One of my favorite voice lines that I made for Tim is when he's talking about Beto, the captain of the Crux. I once tried to hop on her ship as she was heading to Inazuma, but one of her crew members caught me and threw me back on the docks. Talk about disrespect. Yeah? Well, that's what you get for sneaking onto Beto's ship. She has standards, you know. My next OC is named Katie, which is short for Caterin. She's an electro bow user who lives in Inazuma and is the junior member of the Arataki gang. She has 2 pets, a dog named Baby and a bird named Tolta. The reason why I mention her pets is because she was born with the unique ability to understand animals. But it's not just this special ability that makes her unique in my opinion. Katie is blind. Now, I hear you. Why is she able to use a bow if she's blind? That's where her vision comes in. With her vision, Katie is given the ability to tap into the electrical currents of all living things, which sort of acts like an X-ray vision of sorts. This allows her to see during battle and use her bow. Even with this issue resolved, you're probably also wondering why she's a member of the Arataki gang. Well, her mother was really mean, and Katie decided to run away one stormy night. A lightning bolt struck too close to her face, and this is what led to her becoming blind and earning her electrovision. When she eventually made her way into the city, she met Ito and was invited into his gang out of sympathy. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but one of my favorite voice lines for Katie is when she has a light hit taken during battle. Didn't see that one coming. Get it? She didn't see it coming because she's blind? Oh man, I feel like Sino when he's trying to explain his jokes. Now, this next OC is kind of an interesting one, mainly because she's the only OC I've made who's a villain. That's right, this OC is a Fatui Harbinger by the name of Kayla. I made Kayla as a sort of replacement for La Senora as the fourth of the 11 Fatui Harbingers. She's a Dendro Polearm user who was born with a natural killer instinct. This instinct was supposed to act as a way for Kayla to keep herself safe, but it ultimately led to her taking the life of her own parents. After she ran away from home, she ended up meeting Dottore and decided to join the Fatui. Her code name is the Blood Rose, and I headcanon that she and Dottore are really great friends. Sounds like Pantalone has some competition, if you know what I mean. One of my favorite voice lines I made for Kayla is when she's standing idle, and she talks about destiny. They say that the path of destiny is the path that your feet will always lead you down. I guess the path of destiny is what led to me becoming a Fatui Harbinger. Wow! Deep thoughts coming from a Fatui Harbinger. Maybe we could learn a thing or two from her. Moving on, my next OC is named Pinto. She's an Animo sword user from Mondstadt and is the adopted younger sister of Bennett. Her backstory is complicated, to say the least. All I'll say is that she was given her Animo vision after she found a feather belonging to the Falcon of the West, which eventually led to her becoming Venti's apprentice. The reason why I say her backstory is complicated isn't because of how she earned her vision, but it's due to the fact that her backstory and her elemental burst indicate that she shares a connection to the Falcon of the West. Basically, her elemental burst has her calling forth the Falcon of the West to deal massive Animo damage and, if other elements are present, create the swirl effect. Heck, one of her voice lines when she activates her elemental burst is literally her yelling, "Spear of the Falcon." So clearly there is some sort of connection here. Feel free to tell me any theories you have about this concept down in the comments. My next OC is named Yanxi, and if you could guess from her name, she's from Liyue. She's a Geocatalyst user with a pretty basic backstory. Abandoned at a young age, blessed by the Adepta to become immortal, adopted by Zhongli, and claimed Zhao and Ganyu as her older siblings. Basic family dynamic going on here. As Zhongli's adopted daughter, Yanxi acts as a junior assistant at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor, which means that she's exposed to a lot of death. This doesn't really seem to faze her, however, and some of her voice lines indicate that she's grown used to the concept of death. Take this voice line, for example, where she tells us a little bit more about herself. I always tell my friends that if they die before me, I'll be sure to carry on their memory in my heart, or their coffin on my shoulder, since me and my father work for the funeral parlor. Oh, sorry, did that get too dark? My bad. At least she admits that the conversation got a little dark, so that's good. The last OC that I'll cover in this video is Matt. Matt's name is short for Maestro, and he was born in Fontaine. Like Katie, Matt grew up in a mean household, facing a lot of mental harm from his parents. However, when Matt was 12, his parents died, and he made the decision to run away from home while vowing to never trust anyone ever again. That is until he arrives in Sumeru. In Sumeru, Matt finds Aru Village and meets Candace. After realizing how truthful and kind her words and actions were towards him, Matt decided to befriend her. However, he showed distrust towards the other members of the village and decided to leave, making his home inside of a treehouse in the forest. This didn't stop him from visiting Aru Village once in a while, since he knew that Candace would want to see him and keep their friendship going. Alongside his friendship with Candace, Matt did also earn a hydrovision from his troubled past. Before I end the video, I want to share one of Matt's voice lines with you, one that I think shows a different side to his distrusting personality. This particular voice line is triggered when an ally is on low HP during battle. He tells them, "You don't need to win to earn my trust." To me, this is Matt's way of saying that he's actively trying to become more trustworthy of people, despite his past preventing him from making that change. At least, that's just my opinion. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, great! As I've said before, I'm open to any theories you may have about my characters. You can leave your theories in the comments, and also comment which one of my OCs you like the most. Let me know if you want part 2, and I'll see you around the next corner. So long, my peeps!